let's get into it. Let's get ripping here. You headed back in?
I brought Trace a drink outside.
Oh, yeah. Trace is working outside today, so Mama brought him a drink. So, but, all right.
He already cut himself with the nails.
That's fine. He'll be okay.
Oh, you can see me. I got to scoot out.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, see, you see Monsterman? You see what he said? No. He said there's no halfway in on the podcast. It's all or nothing. She says no thank you. So, but anyway, that's where we're at, guys. Let's get started.
You've been on here.
We're going to get into what we always get into. We're going to get into the tracks, what everybody's doing this weekend. There was a lot. Sorry, this popsicle's good. There's a lot of racing this weekend, guys. I thought about putting this off. I put a poll out until Monday because of that reason. Everybody still wanted to do it tonight, so here we are. Track attendances. We'll start off where Orange Crush went, up there with the Crater. The Crater had 49 and 102. Great turnout for the World 100. I like that 100 mark. I like that's a good number. More is always welcome, but the 100 mark's really a good number to have. Palos looked like they had Cedar River. They had 26 and 50, according to Live RC. Layton had a little club race, 32 and 42. Guys, I like those 32-42s. What's up, Tommy? Those 32-42s are kind of nice sometimes, just to have a relaxing night of just hanging out and racing without having to worry about all this stuff, that happens. Town, they ran another little race. They're awful close to the big race, which we'll talk about here in just a second, that happened this weekend, and it's still going on. They had 11 and 30. They're over in Danville. They're real close to the Hell Tour. The Hell Tour, guys, it's not this last year, so if you missed out, you missed out. You won't be able to get back in on that deal. But the Hell Tour is a one of a kind deal. I don't know that anybody else runs one like that, and I don't know that there ever will be another Hell Tour. I don't know what Brad's plans are. I haven't talked to him that much about it. It doesn't really matter. But the thought of it is, with this being the 10th year and him getting out of it, then he's out of it. So we're going to see what happens and go from there. So the Hell Tour had some really good numbers. They started off on Friday at Cedar Bluff. And Cedar Bluff, they had a 71 and a 144. That's on a Friday night. So how can you complain about that? They have then go to Farmer City on a Saturday night. That's 83 and 163. The best turnout of the weekend, which is understandable. It's a Saturday. We'll talk about Farmer, and I'm not bagging on him. I'm just going to talk about something that I want all track owners to listen. And then Brad today, he's still racing right now, 75 and 155. I haven't looked lately where he's at, but I know he was getting them done here real quick. So let me look it up real quick, and I'll tell you where he's at. But he was in the middle of round 2 qualifying whenever last time I looked. Let me see here. I'll look him up real quick on Live RC, like everything I do, guy. I mean, 99% of the time I do. Live RC, I was watching it all day on the way back home. Yeah, they are done with round 2, it looks like. Round 2 is done. They'll start mains here shortly. So those guys that are down there, if they're not throwing it on one of their phones or on one of their deals, they'll be on after a while, I'm sure. So Hell Tour is something else. I'm going to put this public service announcement out right now for track owners. Any track owner listen to this. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't give you Brad's numbers. Thought I did. 155. 75 and 155. So he's right in the middle. And some guys, here's my opinion on it, guys. In a 3-race series, you get to drop 1. If you're not close by the 3rd day, a lot of guys are tired. They've been out till 2 in the morning both days. That's what time they got done in Cedar. They drove back this way. Then they end up racing last night. They had a little problem getting started, and that's what we'll talk about in a minute. They raced till 2 o'clock in the morning again at Farmer City, and some guys just want to go home. And especially if they're not in the hunt, right? If they're not in the middle of it, a lot of guys just want to go home. And I don't blame them. I'm not bagging on them. They only lost about 6 drivers or 8 drivers, according to those numbers, so it wasn't horrible. But that's how that works, right? A Munsterman, I know you've been on that Hell Tour before, so that's understandable. White Fox had over 100 cars. Not sure Leighton. Yeah, Leighton, I had Leighton up there, I think. Leighton was 32-42, according to Live RC. But yeah, that's good, man. 100 cars is good. So here's what's up. This is a PSA for track owners. Anybody running your track. If you have not fired up your Live RC in a couple weeks and updated it, do it. Okay? Yeah, I seen Oval had a bunch too. I didn't write them down, Chris, but I did see Oval had a really good turnout. So that's good. So if you haven't turned on your Live RC, or ran Live RC in a week or two, maybe a month, I don't know when he did it, but they lock you out of it. I know for the Shriners race, I got locked out of it. I called Brad or text Brad and told him, hey man, you might want to look at yours, make sure you're up to date because they're going to lock you out. If you have not been on your Live RC in 2 to 3 weeks, make sure that you do it. We have got to get this out there because guys, they were an hour and a half behind racing last night because of that reason. So that's how it works. Make sure you guys are doing that. Make sure you guys that own tracks have your Live RC up. Make sure your live time is up to date because it will not let you in, and it usually wipes your whole system. They have to go in and they have to take care of it. They can get you back, but it takes time. So it happened at Farmer, and I feel bad. I told Matt when I went down there last night, me and the wife, we went down and watched for a while. I told him, man, I knew it was going to happen, and I'm sorry. I should have texted you, and I didn't even think about it. So that I felt bad for that. But if you have been on, not been on Live RC, get on Live RC, get your program open. Lifetime, get ready to rip because your lifetime will lock you out if you haven't been on it in a little bit. Okay? They stopped the old software that nobody wanted to update because we all heard it was going to lock us out. They have quit supporting that. Therefore, you cannot do anything with that. So make sure that you get that handled. So, all right, that's where we're at. I don't care about that cat.
This is Charlie.
So,
He's making his TV appearance.
Yeah, I don't care. Charlie can do what Charlie wants to do. They're your cats, not mine.
It bleeped me out.
It bleeped you out on the words, didn't it?
Well, because that's bullshit.
CC.
You know it.
Well, so here it is.
This is Charlie.
That's the IT department, as Brian Munsterman would say, and they ain't worth a shit.
This is the other IT department. He just supervises. He usually hides.
Yeah.
Look at him, though. He's just being my buddy.
So.
Look at him. He's so sweet.
All right, guys, we're going to step into question of the week. All right? That cat looks like he wants to punch me. Well, he might. I feed the little bastard, so they shouldn't.
Don't you be mean to my cat.
So, let's get into this deal. Question of the week this week. Here it is. Brought to us by Weasel Racer. Those of you guys know Weasel. Great dude. He's usually on here. I'm surprised he's not. He might be and not on live. So you just built a brand new car. See you, Mama.
I'm out of here.
Love you. So you just built a brand new car. Where do you start with the setup? Do you copy someone? Or do you start from scratch? And if you start from scratch, where do you start? Let's get that opinion in there. There's a few of us on here. My opinion on it is this. I find a guy with a light car, and I don't maybe copy his setup, but I definitely see what he's doing, right? I want to know what his setup looks like. I want to talk to him. I want to see, hey, what tire works? Hey, what do you think of this? Does my car look close? You'll find somebody that will help you. And it's going to kind of go into our topic this week, too. The topic of the week. So that's going to kind of run together, I think. Rick says, I start at what I call neutral and make adjustments. I agree with that 100%, Rick. I think that's a really good place to start. Everybody has their neutral. If you're brand new to the hobby, a neutral, you shouldn't be in a purpose-built car, in my opinion. You should be in something that is factory built. So that way you have a little bit of time to figure it out and adjustments out before you get way in over your head with a bunch of adjustments you don't know what's going to do. Right? So that's how I see that. I wouldn't say that you need to start at a box stock. If you buy an RTR, what's in the box? I mean, if you don't know any difference, that's where you start. If you have some idea what you're doing, or have ran a big car and have an idea, most guys try to go towards the big car idea, I think. But a neutral setting or a box setting, whatever came out of the box, is probably not a horrible place to start. And then start making adjustments. But we've talked about this here at the track quite a bit, some of us regulars, and we've talked about it and said, why is it such a problem for guys that have not got into the hobby early? Why won't they go ask a guy? Why won't they talk to a guy? We've talked about it here quite a bit too. What's the problem with asking somebody what's up? Seems like a lot of people have that problem. So, man, just go ask them. They'll help you. Promise you, somebody's going to help you. You might get rejected a few times, but especially if you're a newbie and the guys know it, they see you out there practicing, you're struggling a little bit, you know, a guy might come to you, but they might not. You might have to go ask. So make sure you get out there and do that. So that's how I see that, right? So I see, as you're building a car, as you're building a new car, I would suggest neutral position and talk to people that are in the same class as you are. Okay? Guys that are doing well in that class, right? While we were down at Farmer City this weekend, we've seen a lot of helping hands, especially when you get in the upper classes, in the 13.5, the crate late, the 13.5 sprint, the mods. Obviously, those guys all help each other a lot. So that was really good to see. Now, just because you're not in those classes doesn't mean, A, you can't watch, you can't listen. I learned a lot last night just hanging out from other racers. So we had a lot of conversations right at trackside. So, you know, right at the track side, not at trackside, but at the track, the side of the track, we had a lot of conversations about different stuff. Rick says a lot of your upper drivers seem to be turned off by lower class drivers, not all, but some. Hey, that's going to be everywhere, Rick, no matter what you do, right? You just have to find those ones that are good people and will help you and help as much as they can, right? You're going to have that guy that's a dick. I mean, there's guys out there that are nicknamed Dick for a reason, right? Whether they're right or wrong, they think they know it all. They don't want to help you. They're out there. You just have to kind of look around and choose. What's up, William? He says Aiden started with Coops and Butch at Limestone was such a big help. Butch is a big help. Butch has been here for the 4 years we've been open. Butch has helped us a ton, and he's helped a lot of other drivers a ton. Butch is a good dude. And the thing is, guys, you can ask a guy, yeah, right, Rick, don't be a dick. You're right, but there's guys out there like that. Guys like Butch, this is what I like about Butch a lot. Butch will help you, right? He'll help you till the day is long. Then at some point, he kind of lets you go, which is good because you need to fly on your own, right? You need to. And I know he's helped tons of racers out here. I know he's helped tons of racers at Limestone. So, man, you just have to find that guy. I mean, we were out here, and we talked about it before, excuse me. Purple was out here with his late model, and Henderson's helped. You know what I mean? You know, that's not unusual. Josh Alvey was out here for the last big race, or the race before, and a bunch of my guys are out. So, here it is. You know, Jake Howard grabs his car. He goes, hey, can you help me? And Jake Howard grabs his car, makes a few adjustments, and helps the car out a bunch. So, that's the difference, you know what I mean? It's just, you got to find that guy that really enjoys helping, and they're out there. You just have to find them. And when you find them and they are the right people, then they will help you out. So, my opinion, set it up neutral, get it ready to rip, as neutral as you can get it, and then go from there, and it'll get better. You know, as you continue to learn how to tune it, it will get better and better for you. Okay, good question, Weasel. I hope you come back and I'll have to make sure I tell him so he can get back and watch it later. So, yeah, that's how I see that. That's a really good question, and I think that's something that really needs to happen, and it'll help. I mean, it'll eventually help you. You know what I mean? You don't want a guy that's going to hold your hand the rest of your life. Williams says Nick's another good guy. So many in the hobby. There's a lot in the hobby. Oh, you're not kidding it. I mean, there's so many good guys in the hobby. Tommy says get your base set up that you can drive and learn to be consistent. Yeah, that's a question we had at the track this week too. Was, you know, do guys want to go too fast instead of being a good driver? Right. I think in this area, I think the Wisconsin guys got a little bit different view. I think Aaron keeps them classes kind of slower with track condition and with motor packages to make good racing, and guys understand them more. Man, that was good, just so you know, Rick. So that's the best thing I know to do. You know what I mean? So I think there's always a baseline there. I think you just have to communicate, talk about it, talk to other guys, talk to everybody in that class, find out who's running what you're running or close to what you're running, and they'll help you out. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Let's get into tires real quick. We always have a tire question. Let's get into the old tire turmoil. That's coming up next. All right, tire question. Should we be allowed to mess with foams in a tire? So, guys, you know most guys are going to somewhat of a spec tire. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get back here. Sorry, guys. I was on the other side. Rick Taylor says, my first race ever had a guy come up and give me one of his setup sheets. He gave me a ton of help. The main thing was work for him won't necessarily work for you. That's 100%. You can't go there at all. You know what I mean? You can't copy and paste and make it work. Joe says, there's someone at BB Mods right now that messaged me about adjustments on a Bandit, and I helped him out from home. There's people that will help. They're just usually really busy. Yes, they are busy, but that makes you a good racer because you're busy, right? Usually the guys that are sitting around not having anything to do is either running a spec class where they can't do anything, or they are, they're not in the top of the field, in my opinion. Normally the guys that are working, trying to get better all the time, trying to make that little tweak to make it a little bit better when they can, are the ones that are at the top of it. Dank said yes on modifications to foams. Dank, I don't disagree with you, and here's why. We're going to go to the spec tires. Most guys are going to 2 or 3, 1 to 3, okay? I think that's where it's going to be in this area. I don't think we're going to have an open tire rule much. I think a lot of guys are going to be discouraged by the open tire, and if you want to turn out, you're probably going to need to have some kind of a tire rule, okay? With that being said, we are open tire this year, as everybody knows, and we are working towards putting together the package that we want to run. And this weekend and this weekend's racing helped me a lot with understanding the tires that they're running at the Hell Tour, and asking about how much the tire wear is affected by that, okay? And that's my big thing, guys. I don't want guys buying tires after every round. If you race a day's worth of racing and your tires are still, if you're bald by that point, in my opinion, that's not horrible. Would I love to see a guy be able to get 3 races out of a set of tires? Yes. But if you're running a high-end class like a mod class, you're probably not going to make that happen. If you're running 12 turns, I call them 12 turns, slash street stock, if you're running B mod, you'll probably get more than 1 out of it, what have you. But you're probably buying tires anyway. Here's the thing. Rick says I saw a video where a guy was cutting the foam and gluing the foams to the wheel. There's all kinds of tricks to that. And here's what the problem is with saying no to that. If you say no to fixing the foams, how are you going to tech that? I mean, I think Tony used to actually pull on the tire, grab the foams and see if it moved over at Backyard. But the reality of it is really tough to get that done. So the true way to check that would be really, really hard. So I don't know. I don't think it's worth teching. If you're going to go that deep into the foams, then you're going that deep into the foams. Dave from the RC Underground Radio says, hanging in the RCU studio and doing final work on the RC Underground Roadshow episode from the Kempton Shriner race. So that'll be interesting to see. That should come out tomorrow, Monday. He should be launching that towards our way. So make sure you guys jump over to the RC Underground Radio YouTube page, like, subscribe, share that out, and then put it in. Go up there and get all the notifications from that page. So that way you know whenever my show comes out, the Twisted Tuesday show comes out, the RC Underground Radio show, that's coming back, I believe the 8th. I think they're going to try to get that coming back around where it'd be, I believe, Dave and TJ. And then also the 132 guys, the drag race side of it. So make sure that's going 6 a.m. at the old drop. I'll be watching it at 6. Bill says you can't text that. But that's where I'm at, guys. You can't tech. I think what you're saying is tech, and you can't tech that, Bill. You're right. I mean, I seen Tony do it at the Crown Jewel where he grabbed the tire and pulled the foam, and then if he thought it was stuck, I believe he cut the tire, and if he was wrong, he bought you tires. If he was right, your ass out. You can't race anyway. I believe that's how that worked. Don't quote me on that, but I remember last year there was something going on with that in that way. They were going to pull the tires. Honestly, the tech is way too much on that. I don't think it's worth it. And if a guy wants to go to that kind of problems to make that happen, if that's where he's at, then make it happen. Rick says, I think that would be more for the off-road than the oval. I mean, there is advantages to doing what they're talking. Guaranteed. There's advantage to playing with the foams. Without a doubt. It's just how much you want to work at it. And like I said, so maybe I go with a denser foam or a bigger foam, and you go to pull on the tire and it still moves, but it's denser. What are you going to do? I mean, it's still moving on the foam. I didn't glue it to the wheel, right? Bill says it slows the show down. Yeah, I mean, it not only does it slow the show down, Bill, is it who has the manpower to do it? Joe says if a track is that worried about it, the only way to supervise mounting and impounding the tires 100%. Or they have to come get tires from you, right, that are already mounted on wheels. Dank says, well, I'm okay when it's allowed, never when it's a rule you can't. I haven't seen much of it, honestly. But the guy that put this question to me and asked me about this is not on here. He's racing right now. So I'll be interested what he comes back with because he'll watch later, I'm sure. But that's what I'm wondering. You know what I mean? Like, I agree, Joe. I think it's a lot to worry about. You know what I mean? And if I wanted that to happen, I'm selling you a set of wheels and tires, pre-mounted. You have to use mine. You can't do anything with them. That's how that would have to be, in my opinion. And who wants that, honestly? I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of, you talk about a lot of time and money and effort, that's a lot. So, speaking of that a little bit, guys, you know, we have the fall brawl coming up. The fall brawl entry fee is a little higher. You pre-register is the best way to do it. If you pre-register, you are going to get a T-shirt. The guys from Fastlane Graphics has made up a shirt. I'll drop it tomorrow probably. What it looks like. It is a fall brawl shirt for Kempton Speedway. You will get that free of charge with your $30 entry. So it's 30, 20, 15, 15, 15, 15 instead of 20, 15, 10, 10, 10. So it will be a little bit more, but you are going to get a free T-shirt with that deal. And also, they are doing, we're working on a food truck. So hopefully that's going to be here. You will get a free meal from the food truck from us. Okay? Bill says, very true. If you can't drive, but if you can drive, but if you can't, foam adjustment won't work. Yeah, right. I mean, the foam adjustment is not going to make a non-driver into a driver by any means. It is a tweak to make you just a touch better, in my opinion. It's going to be that fine line tune that's going to help on somebody that's right on the edge of where they want to be, and it's going to help them. It's not going to make you a great driver by messing with the foams. If you have to mess with the foams early on in your career, or if you completely suck at a class, put more laps in. Don't worry about the foams. Yeah. I agree with that. Joe says it only takes a syringe and some glue to glue the foams on pre-mounts. I agree. Rick says put all the tires in a box and pull them out the day of the race. Orange Crush, just message me on Facebook. So anybody that wants to pre-register with me. We've already got 45 cars pre-registered, and we're a month out. So pre-register with me. Just send me a message on Facebook Messenger, and I will get you on the list. I need classes you're running and shirt size. I will have shirts here the day of. If you don't pre-register, you will be able to buy them. They're going to be $20 a shirt. So really, you're getting a shirt, $20 shirt for free by just messaging me saying you're going to be here and showing up. If you're going to be here anyway, just do it. It's easy. Don't cost you. You don't have to pay ahead. Just be honest with me. If you pre-register, try to show up as best as you can. But that's how we're going to do that. There'll be more coming out in the next week or so. I wanted to not blow it up too much before Brad's race because it's just, I don't know. I'm trying to help other tracks and be cordial with other tracks as much as I can, especially my local ones. You know what I mean? Trying to keep everybody to where we can all get it out there. Nobody's getting blown up with nothing, blah, blah, blah. So, okay. So foams, I feel like you can play with the foams. I feel like it's going to happen anyway. I feel like if somebody put a rule in you can't put in, and I haven't seen much of that. I've seen people suggest that you don't play with foams. I don't disagree with that either, right? I don't disagree with that either. Okay? If that's where they want to be and that's who they think, that's where they're at, I don't disagree with the track saying, hey, leave the foams alone. You should. Okay. That's fine, Rick. Just message me. 50-50, I'm okay with that, guys. It's not that big a deal. I just don't want to order 25 or 50 or 100 shirts and not enough guys show up, right? That's the whole thing about it because they are made for this event. So with them made for this event, you will not, there's no way I can do it any other way. You know what I mean? Like it's just going to screw me if I try to get around on it. So, okay. If a guy can't make it, I understand it. That happens at times. But the reality of it is if you are honest with me, I'll be honest with you. It's the easiest way to do it. Okay? Let me see if I can find the shirt. I might be able to throw it up here tonight. You guys will be the first ones to see it. Except for, of course, my wife and I. But I'm working on here, guys. I am the IT department. What's up, Weasel? We used your question, buddy. You'll have to go back. You'll have to go back and listen. We did use your question about starting a new class. So make sure you go back before this point, and we talked about it. So make sure you go back and check that out. It was a good conversation too. So that's even better. Yeah, weather would play a big part. Of course, Rick. I understand. I understand all that. I'm not trying to be an ass about it. I just don't want to get holding the bag on 100 shirts that I'm not going to get rid of, because after this day they're done. Okay. All right, guys, let's get into the other thing we like to go to, which is we are going to transition ourselves into the races coming up. So next weekend's races, there's not a whole lot going on here in this area, right around here. So that's kind of good. I mean, plenty of time for guys to travel. The Hell Tour kind of takes a lot out of guys early in the month. That's 3 days of running and gunning till 2 or 3 in the morning every day, and it sounds like Brad's going to get done at a reasonable time tonight. But definitely something that you can add to it, right? See what that looks like. We'll get in there and see what the tracks, what tracks are doing here. Let me see if I can get this shirt up here real quick. But plenty of other stuff going on, that's for sure. I think let's get to them. I'll get the shirt later. Boop boop. Races coming up. All right, our guys at Attitude on the 7th. They run a lot of Sundays up there, which is cool to me. They are going to be running the late model lasso on Sunday the 7th. So get up there, check that out. The guys up there at Attitude run a really good program. So that's good to see. Looks like MR Customs is the main sponsor for that deal. He did a really good job for us here, giving a couple bodies, and we thank Greg for that. But yeah, that's that should be a good race. Cedar River racing again next Saturday too. Okay. Cedar Bluff is also racing, so Cedar Bluff has got the Battle of the Bluff. That's coming up next weekend. Racing Saturday night, Mod Sprint. Midwest Mod. They run a lot of Midwest Mod over there. So if you guys got a Midwest Mod, make sure you jump over there and get that done. Because that's a good. There ain't many people that run that class anymore, and I don't really understand completely why, but a lot of people don't. So make sure if that's where you want to be, make sure you get over there and get that done. Run that Midwest Mod. Here's another one that's kind of out of the way for us. I would like to get down to it. I know Tommy D wants to get down to it also and check this track out. Here it is. It's County Line. Down in Missouri, they're running their fall series. So they're running a series, obviously. They run on the 6th. They will have another race. Looks like they have a pretty good selection of races also. That's I'd love to go to this track. I think it's really cool. And here's why. I'll show you the next picture I show you guys. I've never been to this track. I've never seen how they do anything. I don't know anything about this track, honestly. 100% never been there before. Look at this picture here. So I went to go see where this track's at, and I pulled it up on Google Maps. As you see on the left-hand side there, that is the dirt oval. That is Highway 67 in Missouri. I'll call it Central Missouri, but it's really on the western or eastern side of Missouri, just south of St. Louis. That's a 4-lane blacktop divided highway, and there's a dirt oval, RC dirt oval right there. Guys, we talk about location all the time. What do you think about that? You know what I mean? Like, what would a guy do to have that? I told the wife, I said, you drive by that deal, it looked like a damn carnival every Friday or Saturday night when we're racing. It looks like there's room right there to the north there to put a Jumbotron. I mean, exposure to the hobby. My opinion again. Guys at County Line, if you guys jump on this and see this, I'm not bagging on you. I'm just saying what I would do or how I would try to do it. I'm not even saying I could do it, but I would damn sure try, because I think that is cool. There's a lot going on there, and there's a lot of cars. That's a lot of people going by there. We were just talking about that the other day with another track owner of how location means everything. So I'd like to get down there and check those guys out just to see what it's about, see what it looks like, and go from there. So that's pretty cool. I think that is a really good looking track. I think that track, been by a nice place, Chad says. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying, Dank. I mean, I think it looks cool, and Jumbotron, that's okay. You'll still see it. If there's a big accident right in front, you can watch the racing while you're waiting on your shit to get picked up by the tow truck. Look the positive side of this deal. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's pretty cool. I think that would be a really cool place. One, that'd be a really cool place to race, right? To watch, to go race. And the other thing is it looks like it'd be a really good place to go and just enjoy the racing, see everybody, and see what's going on at the track. I mean, I think that thing would be pretty cool. So before we get off this, guys, I did get this picture up here. This is the picture for the new Fall Brawl shirt. So that is the Fall Brawl shirt that you guys will get for free for pre-registering. If you do not pre-register, you will get you can buy that the day of the event. It is going to be $20. We will have a limited supply, but there's a Fall Brawl shirt made by Fastlane Graphics right here in this area. They're over in Shabance. So Jeremy Fagan, my buddy, he was out here racing for the Shriner race. Him and his son raced, and he was out here hanging out, supporting us. We support him the same way. He did all my shirts this year and probably will continue to do my shirts. No offense to Carpies, who does a great job. So, but that's my guy. You know what I mean? Here's that. I'll get that flyer back up for you. There it is, Rick. County Line Raceway, I believe is what they call it. Yeah, County Line Raceway and Hobbies.com. Attica runs next weekend. Okay. I'll have to look that up. Send me that information, Ben. Can you please? Location, Bill says location. The first time Aiden and I had no idea where your track was. To think you build it and they are coming. Yeah. You like that shirt, Jeff? You just let me know, Rick. You can buy it. Yeah, Jeff was one of them that was really on board for a event t-shirt. One-sided, guys. That's the way it is. Like I say, my guy, he takes care of me. And we work well together. He's kind of an asshole like me, so we work really well together. But yeah. So Fastlane Graphics, you guys need something. Obviously, Carpies can handle it too. Carpies does an amazing job, but I like local. I'm just who I am. Yeah, Uncle Jeff's on here, Rick. But yeah, Bill. We had no clue of what we were getting ourselves into when you were out here early on. I mean, we had no clue. Dave says, "Take my wallet." That shirt's amazing. Yeah, you talked to the guy, Dave. You know Jeremy, or well, you spoke with Jeremy. So, but yeah, it's cool, man. I sent him what I think. I said I want to mix the track, Fall Brawl, and boxing because we figured when we put money up for the slashes, it was going to be a brawl. That's where it came from. The Fall Brawl race, guys, is my guys, not me, my guys, the Kempton crew. There's a group of them that brought up money last year and said, hey, we're putting money up for a slash race because they never get to race for anything. So guess what? Yes, I do PayPal, Chad. Message me. They said slash don't get to run for anything. It's the low end of the totem pole for most people. We want to put a slash race on. We want to put money up. I said okay. They came up with money. We put money on top. I think we paid out $600 or $800 last year. We're paying $1,000 out this year for the slash street stock. Slash street stock you can put on 12 turn. You run DL2 and you can run 13.5. They're all there. Okay. This guy by the name of Scuba Steve won it last year and gave the money back to us to help make improvements on the track. That's Scuba. He's one of my Kempton crew, one of the OG Kempton crew guys, and he takes care of people. Scuba's a great man. So that's where we're at. All right. So there's races coming up. Ben has Attica, said Attica's racing too. He's going to send me that information. I'll probably post it on the page just because I didn't tonight. I'll post it on the Kempton Speedway page so you guys can see that. But yeah, it's great. I mean, I love the community that we're building, guys. We're building it stronger and stronger. More and more people are doing it. More and more people are talking. I went to the track last night and talked to some guys that I've talked to on here that I've never met, and I got introduced to them just by talking to them. And I'm like, hey, yeah, I run the podcast. They're like, oh yeah, I know, and introduce themselves. So great time. Ryan put it on here last week, maybe later than most were on here, but he said, before long, I'm not going to be a stranger at any track. Guys, 2 years ago, nobody knew who I was. And I'm not saying everybody knows who I am now, but you guys are out there talking about this. We're all in here talking. It's no different than sitting in the pits on a Saturday night, hanging out, BSing with your buddies, but more people get to hear it. And that's why I want to continue to do, right? I want to continue to have more and more people on here, more and more people talking about it, more and more people wanting to know what we're doing. And if something happens and we need some correction in the hobby in some way, hopefully this will help give somebody a direction to be able to speak about it without getting shunned or not knowing who. We don't know who's listening, right? I don't really give a shit. I mean, I don't care. Anybody can listen to this deal, and if you don't like my opinion, then contact me. We'll talk about it. If you don't like somebody else's opinion on here and you have a problem with them, don't call them raising hell. Just ask them, hey, man, next time you see them, what do you think about this? That's how it works, okay? We're going to jump into the topic here. We're almost an hour in, guys, so we're going to jump into the topic of the week real quick. And that's, if you went over the RC Underground page, I always share it too, but on Facebook, how do you choose the class you're going to run in, right? What makes you want to choose that class? And that's a very tough question for some people. Some people really don't know why they are into that class. They really don't understand, man, why am I doing this class? You know what I mean? What is, maybe even the style of car, right? And I got to thinking about it because I see a lot of people jumping into a hobby both feet forward, right? Like, I am going to go buy a bunch of cars, and they're going to be all different styles. But what made you go buy them? Because your buddies bought them? Because that's what your buddy runs? I don't have a problem with that. I'm just asking why. Personally, I like, Bill says, Butch and the Coops started our adventure. Yes. It takes one, right? I mean, did you like it? Tommy says cars that look cool. So what it usually is you have somebody that you watched race at your local track. Jeff says street stock because it just looks awesome. I agree. So to me, I'm not at this. So guys, I've said it many times before. I've never been to a dirt track in my life. I've watched NASCAR on TV. I've watched a little bit of flow in the last couple of years. Nothing great. I'm not a big flow guy. I don't care to watch that much of it, honestly. I'm a drag race guy. So I don't have that connection. But I look at the cars as their ability to get it done. I don't care as much for an open car, like a sprint car. Modifieds are okay, but I don't want that tire exposed. Just because I can't bang as much. You know what I mean? Rick says competition, good racers, the body, and I got started with the Traxxas, made it into a B-Mod and love racing them. Yeah, I mean, I like it closed up. Orange says I bought a late model because I wanted to get serious about learning suspension tuning, and it was what seemed like infinity. Yes, infinity of adjustments. Agreed, Orange. I think that's, but you didn't start there, right? You didn't start in the late model. When you were racing more at Limestone, right? You had a B-Mod. And did you have a 12 turn then? I don't remember or did you build a 12 turn when you came out here? But I like a closed wheel car. I like to be able to rub a little bit more. I like to be able to get into guys a little bit. I'm not talking a demolition derby like a lot of slash street side classes are. Yeah. Yeah, the Slash Street Stock was my first. Yeah, that's a lot of people's first. Cars that mimic the real one, Tommy says. Yeah, and I think that's key too. If you see a few of mine, my mini mods that I've painted over the years for the boys, Ryan's had the same body because he protects it well. Trace, on the other hand, is not very well at protecting the body. We painted one like my silver dually. If you've been out here in my lower dually, I have a mini mod body that he ripped the nose off of that is painted like that truck, silver with flames on it. Weasel says started with my off-road cars, short course trucks to B mod, and buggy to street stock. It's what I had. Yeah, I agree. I think that's good, Weasel. We were talking about kind of off subject, not really. Last night, Weasel, I was talking to one of the drivers that's been around for years and years. Great dude. We were hanging out down at Farmer watching the race, and we were talking about how the off-road doesn't happen as much, right? The off-road short course, is that going to go away a little bit more because the short course in the off-road world didn't happen as much, didn't take off as much as they thought it might be, you know? Is that why guys are going more buggy-based? I don't know. But the B-mods, man, I'd love to keep that class rolling, but, man, it's going to be hard because there is just not a lot of them out there. I mean, we'll get 6 or 8, but I don't know. I don't know how that's going to happen. But we were talking about it last night and just trying to figure out, you know, what classes are staying and going and where, you know. Rick says open wheel teaches you to pass cleanly and you will have beaten and banged in every class. Yeah, you'll have it, 100%. But we seen it last night down there too. You know, guys are driving up the wall with the Losies, just hanging it out too much and getting up on the wall. So, you know, that's tough. But it happens. So I don't know that there's no real way to say what happened. Like, so here's how I got started in it. So I said, I'm going to build a track. So I built a track just to play around. I didn't know nothing. I'm dumb. So I went up to Hobbytown in, I don't even remember where, bought 6/12 turns because they were reasonably priced. And there's another couple guys in town who wanted them. And so we bought 6. And we brought them home. And we was running them, messing around, and guys couldn't drive them very well. They were all stock. They couldn't figure them out, and they didn't want to work that hard at it, right? We didn't know anything about adjustments. We didn't know anything. So they kind of got put on the shelf, and Munsterman, Butch, and Scuba Steve, they all came out and ruined our life forever with the mini mods. Fast, fun, small, get around well, maneuver. So we ran them. With that, when that was done, a guy brought out a 4-wheel drive Slash because we was running whatever. We didn't care. We didn't even know nothing about this. So he brought a 4-wheel drive Slash out with the VXL system in it, and man, he was cool. He was the baddest. Blah blah blah. He's jumping the wall. He was whatever. You know what I mean? Get them all off. Thank you. So he got all that. So I'm King Dingling. Well, okay. Then another guy bought one of those. And then another guy bought one of those. So then we had a bunch of Slash VXL 4-wheel drives out here racing. So that got rough. We ended up turning them into late models, and not many people run them anymore. But, you know, that's how I got started. I just grabbed a car because it was cheap and easy because I didn't know what I was doing anyway. Now that I understand there's more classes, but I don't think there's enough people that understand all that. Tommy says, I can consider open wheel expert level because you have to be a good driver to drive them clean. Yes, and we were talking last night about driver etiquette at the same time, you know. Driver etiquette's horrible in rubber tire. The claim is that foam tire is a little bit better, but we have got to get better in that, and I don't know how to do it. We've talked about etiquette early on, and we'll probably bring it back around again in the next month or so. But when we get into indoor racing, I want to see how that etiquette's different. And then I want to talk to people about it, right? But, Tommy, I agree. I think open wheel gets you in trouble quick. The only problem, or the only thing I guess I can say, is the Losi Sprint, and everybody knows I'm not a fan, but the reality of it is this. I know Scuba is a fan, but I'm not. The Losi Sprint car, he's a big Losi guy, is an entry level to sprint racing. It is. It is an entry level. It can get you used to open tire. It can get you used to a sprint car. It's got some adjustment on it, so you can get a little bit of that. It is an entry level into that. I don't disagree with that. The problem you run into is just like everything else, is people run them up the wall. People running in, they're driving into each other, right? Mass chaos. I guess you have to learn it at some point, but I really think if you had a closed wheel car to start with, and you got a little of banging and beating out of your system, and you figured out, hey man, banging and beating's cool, but that's not the right way to drive. I think that would help that class a lot in the future. Or any open wheel, or any racing at all, as a matter of fact. I mean, you get taken out by somebody once in a we'll say a slash three stock, you're mad. You know what I mean? Like, you're mad when you're done, and you should be. But I think the rubber tire guys are like, well, we're just having fun. But the foam tire guys aren't as fun, right? It's more serious than their side. But you get up to the higher levels, mod late model, mod sprint, even the crate late and 13.5 late's getting that way, where guys, man, they're getting serious about it. It's not, oh, it's okay. Tommy said, I've seen guys get in over their heads, and that's what's neat about them. But they're not slow, and they're not slow. They are not slow. Those cars, I mean, you can get in trouble in anything, right? So I think it's an okay class. I'm not going to praise it. I'm not going to change. We're going to run the same rule next year, that leisure hours. They sponsor that class this year. They brought that class to my track. So leisure hour rules. I don't know if they'll be on board next year or not. It doesn't really matter. That's an off-season question. But the reality of it is, that class will stay here because there's enough of them. So, just my opinion, promoters need to start parking drivers that deliberately take people out. Rick, I agree with that, but that's really hard. You almost need a monitor for that. I don't have anybody else but myself running a race. So whenever that happens, it's really hard for me to park a guy. As a track owner, I honestly need to see what happens, because in the end, it's my reputation of parking a guy. You see what I'm saying? I'm no different than a tech problem. I feel like a guy that has a tech problem should be the track owner or promoter of the race is the only one that should be able to park somebody for tech, or even definitely park anybody for tech. Okay? But yeah, I agree. There needs to be something happening. I'm telling you, I asked last night, I said, how do you fix that etiquette problem? I said, here's how here's how you fix it. Somebody gets punched in the mouth. You going in, bub? Oh, okay, cool. I'll be out in a little bit. When we get done, I'll be out. The boy's out here. He did some work for us tonight. Got some demolition done. So, but yeah, that's what's going to happen. Somebody gets rocked in the mouth once, shit's going to change. But I mean, I don't want it to come to that. But anyway, back on subject. So I don't think that choosing, Rick says, I agree, possibly have a turn marshal's watch or someone watch with you and inform you. Here's how I do it, and then we'll move on with this. If a guy comes to me and complaining, or I see it myself, I'll call you out on it, right? And if it happens more than once, or if it happens repeatedly, we will have a conversation, not just me, hey man, you're taking out the leader. You know what I mean? There will be a conversation in the pit or in the shop here with you, so you understand that that's not how you should race, right? That's not cool here to just take people out blatantly. There's some guys that just can't control their shit either, and you know that. I'm going to call my son out in Minimod. You know he's going to drive recklessly. I don't think he maliciously is taking people out, but I think the dude just drives, he drives her in hard. If you've raced with him, you know it. So that's how that works. So it's not, I'm not saying it's horrible. I'm just saying that's how it happens. And you want some aggressive racing, but you don't want it to be so bad that guys don't want to race. You know what I mean? That's a horrible thought. So yeah, it's, you know, but getting back into it, guys, I think a lot of guys get into a car because their buddies are in a car. Let's put just a scenario up there, in my opinion. And in my opinion scenario, I feel like I'm on a infomercial. A guy comes up and he is racing for the first time. And with that being said, he wants to race with his buddies. His buddies are out there. They've been running 3 or 4 years. They're in a buggy street stock, and they have a crate late model. Well, hey, man, come out. Let's see what's going on. Let me see what you guys are doing. Oh, that's cool. They're fast. I want to run the same class you're running. Then he goes out and buys 2 of those cars. He's not ready for those cars. He's not ready for those cars at all. But there he is. He's buying those cars because of his buddy, knowing nothing about him, knowing nothing about all the adjustments. Okay? Weasel says, I race by these rules. Number 1, fight for position. Agreed. Number 2, if you have the race is halfway, it's okay to fight to stay in the lead lap, but must stay clean. Agreed also. And then 3, if already a lap down, get out of the way. Agreed. Here's something that I am going to do better as a promoter, and I noticed that a lot last big race. I am going to try, it's very hard sometimes, I am going to try to call out the lead lap guys more. Okay? So, and I'm just going to put these names and numbers out there. I don't know. I'm not calling a race. I'm just telling you this. Okay? So, we're racing, and I say, Tommy's in the lead. He's 8. Right? The 8 car. We're talking slash street stock for shits and grins. And then Jeremy Morris is the 51 behind him, and Scuba's the 9 behind him. Okay? Those 3 guys, they're on the lead lap. So if you're not one of those 3 guys, and I call them, you need to look for them too, because you're not on the lead lap. You're already a lap down. So race for position for the guy next to you. If I call the 94, Trace in the 94, and Ryan in the 11, you guys are 1 lap down, but you're the best race we got. You know you're racing for position. It really does help. Yes, it does, Tommy. And I've worked on that a bunch because, but the leaders, I like that plural word, right? I think a lot of guys get so caught up in who the leader is, and they get out of that leader's way, and they don't always get out of the rest of the lead lap guy's way. And that's my point to it. You know what I mean? So if I can, I need to write myself a note for the drivers meeting to talk about it a little bit too, but I think that's probably the biggest thing is I think everybody moves for the leader and then the rest of the pack is stuck. Well, if you moved for the leader and it was a good race for second and now you clogged up second, guess what? The good race is gone. I know it happens. I know it's nothing. I don't think guys are doing it on purpose, but I think it happens more. And I think that's something that promoters need to talk about and try to get it a little bit better. Our track, in my opinion, is a little narrower than most. Michael Altoff was on here earlier, and their track's very wide. I'm not saying we're not racy because you can definitely get racy here at Kempton, but you can also clog it up real easy because you got to slow so much in the turns, which is part of the battle, but you can really clog it up a bunch right there. So, but yeah, Weasel, I agree 100%, and I can say that you're not a problem at my track anyway. I've never seen you really blocking, you know what I mean? Really having that. I think you really do go by those rules, not just putting it on the old book of faces, right? So, And I commend you for putting that out there. Not a bad way at all to think about it. Maybe not the only way. We all have our opinion of how it's best, but definitely not a bad way to do it. Okay? But yeah, so the scenario of my buddy's got that car and I want that car and I want to race with my buddy and I'm not ready for that, but I'm still going to do it. I think that is very common, probably more common than anybody on here or anybody that listens to this probably wants to admit that that happens more than we think it does. So definitely something that you could think about when your buddy wants to come watch you race and say, hey man, you probably need to try something a little bit lighter just to get going. And there's always a resale market for most of this stuff anyway. There's always somebody looking for something, so definitely somewhere you can, with a reasonable price, you can probably make that happen. Okay? So, and I'm not telling guys to go out and buy 6 cars because I think that's wrong too. I think you need to get in a class that you're comfortable in when you start out and stick with that class as much as you can, as long as you can, you know? You should choose your car and your class by your ability, not by what your buddies are running. The other thing that I wonder about is, do guys choose classes, and the few of us that are on here, which is great. Guys, thank you for hanging out on a holiday weekend with me. What do you guys think about choosing a class because of car count? Now, some of them might be choosing a class because of good car count, others bad car count. What do you guys think that is? Do you guys think it's more because, hey, there ain't many in here and I can get a trophy? Or do you think it's, man, there's 20 in here and I want to race through all those guys? Honestly, what do you guys think? I can't tell you because I put a poll out before and the poll was skewed one way and it makes you think. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I think it's a really good topic. I think guys need to think about it a little bit. We're going to jump off of here on the RC Underground side. Thanks for listening to In My Opinion. Don't forget to join us live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central on Kempton Speedway Facebook page. Catch our highlight show dropping Wednesdays on RCU Radio's YouTube, Spotify, and all major platforms. Please like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time.